It's time for the news.
Another UFO sighting has taken place.
The leather's made out of cardboard.
The number you have dialed is in an alternate dimension.
Welcome back to Weird Week, my friends. Daniel, Kim, how you doing, man?
Weird week. Weird week. It's a
been
weirder
weird week.
Friday.
Yeah. Well, it's been I've had an average Friday. It's not too crazy for me over here. It's casual though. You know, I got the wife beater on, nice light shirt. Feel good, you know, feeling fresh.
Ain't nobody.
So fresh and so clean. Old.
Don't you think I'm so sexy?
No, I really love. We can't get into Outcast right now. We can't start with
Why
Outcast.
not?
It's gonna
Why not?
because we will go on for too long. I really do appreciate what them boys used to do, man.
Are they broken up, or are they still like just not making music anymore?
I think they're broken up now. I think like that it was. I looked into it recently, actually. That it was just like creative differences or something like that. It wasn't necessarily that either of them had like beef with each other or anything, but I think they just both got like busy doing their own things, and then they started to have some creative differences or something. But they're not really collabing anymore, as far as I'm aware. Yeah,
it's a shame.
It is a shame. It's a damn shame. I think like the Idlewild album was kind of like screwed with them a little bit and whatnot. I think things got a little funky there. Oh, and I think they also spoke on it in a way that they were like, well, we felt like our sound and like our stuff was like no longer moving with the times, you know?
Oh yeah, but they don't do trap beats or anything like that. They just mostly like groove kind of hip hop. Yeah. Shame. Still a shame. I would like for them to release one more album or a single.
It's like they had some really good beats. I don't know who was making the beats, if it was Andre, Big Boy, or some third producer or something, but their beats were lit, and then lyrics were crazy. Andre had a crazy flow. Let's get into some other crazy stuff in this weird week, DK. First of all, so I saw this video online before you threw this one at me as part of our research, but there's this video of a woman like putting saran wrap. She's like wrapping her entire section of seats in saran wrap. I think she had bought like all of the seats in the vicinity and then all of the tickets, and then like started to try to seal herself off with the saran wrap. And it was to the point that she was like wrapping several chairs with it, right? And to the point that she like encased the top of the chairs to like where she had a little mini roof. She was like in a little like plastic saran wrap bubble.
Yeah.
And being filmed the whole time. She's like, you know, stop filming me, stewardess. This person's filming me. And of course, like you calling the stewardess to complain about somebody filming you saran wrapping their entire plane. Like, of course, they're going to be mad at you, not the guy filming. I don't know. This was a little kooky, and I can't tell if it was like staged as like a TikTok funny or if the lady like was actually trying to saran wrap herself.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell that. I mean, some people in the comments said it's you know it's fake, but it's just also if this bit is a prank, why bother the poor fellow passengers? I mean, if you looked at the way she saran wrapped it, you know, like they have monitors in the back of the seats. She was covering the monitors. It's just like I can't catch my movie because if you're stupid ass saran wrap,
right?
It's just,
and like I'm curious, like because she gets mad when the flight attendant like starts to like tear it down or something like that, and I'm like, in my head, I'm just like, how did she get that far without them already trying to take it down? Like what? if it wasn't like staged. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she literally built an entire tent and then they are like, yeah, let's try to like dismantle it. Like you guys didn't let her get away with that the entire time, and then all of a sudden you now, like, once she's fully fucking assembled her her building, like you're ready to take it down. Like, no, you
Well,
would have stopped her mid-process, I think.
yeah, well, I don't think is saran wrap like plastic wrap banned on TSA. I think like you can't carry weapons or like even like a certain amount of liquids, but I don't think saran wrap is something that they banned. So if they found it in her carry-on, I don't think they would have been like, "Oh, you can't take this on with you." You're just like, "What is this
No, but they should have
do?"
stopped her while she's doing it, mid doing it. Like, I don't think it would have been banned either, or like not allowed on the flight. But the fact that they just let her get away with it, there were so many layers that were happening that it's like there's no way she just sat there and did that for like 30 minutes and the flight attendants didn't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean they're probably at, like in their own station or like they're trying to get the drinks ready and stuff to
very
come down.
intricately
Yeah,
woven. It was a very
yeah. So
intricately woven net of yes, there's a chance that like they just weren't paying attention, or like I don't know, maybe she was in like first class and they treat those kinds of people differently or something, and they don't pay attention to them, or I don't know, but like clearly if this was real, this lady has like way too much privilege and like and way too much hypochondria. You know, privilege and hypochondria are not a good mix, if you ask me.
yeah, I mean it's well, I mean if it's a prank, then it's just like it's one of those that's such an inconvenience. It's like everybody's just trying to get home or trying to get to their destination, and it's just like don't make the flight any more worse than it is. And like God. And if it is like, let's say it's she actually intentionally wanted to feel safer with the fort, and just like you said, just buy business class. You bought 3 economy seats. That's just the price of a business class. Just they have like encasings practically for
Right.
you.
So the report that we find here, it looks like they're mostly only commenting and reporting on what is seen in the video, and there's not anything like actually coming from the airline or anything like that. And that's
Mhm.
kind of one of the things that additionally makes me think that it was all part of like a thing. And like I don't even think it was necessarily a prank done on all the passengers and the crew and stuff like that. I think they were all in on it. If it was like a setup, I think they were all part of the setup. I think the person recording knew what was happening. I think, and it was all as a part of like a way to get publicity. Now, this could all just be me being like, cynical skeptic, but at the same time, like it just felt very, very strange, like, and set up. Like, how does somebody get away with saran wrapping 6 chairs for like 20, 30 minutes and nobody stops her until she's done? Like, why would you let her finish before you stop her?
I mean, I don't like there's times in a flight where like the flight attendant's not. That's why they have the little button on top that you just call a flight attendant over and be like, "What do you need?" But maybe there
And she's
was
like
during that
making a
time.
commotion the whole time too. She's screaming for the flight attendant as she's rapping, and then still is only like halfway done while she's
Yeah,
screaming, and then she
yeah.
finishes the job and puts a roof on the whole fucking thing before anybody does anything. It does that's it just
I
people
mean,
don't be
probably
so
they're
freaking obnoxious no matter what. Don't be so
yeah.
damn obnoxious. It was mighty sus. Speaking of mighty sus and privilege, but like a privilege people actually deserve this time. Like even no matter if it's like luxury people or poor people or whatever, they shouldn't have to deal with this at all. A luxury apartment, uh a Bethesda luxury apartment has garbage piling up to the 9th floor. Now you have to imagine it's like a garbage chute of some sort. But that's like that it's more than obnoxious. It's more than disgusting. You can imagine what it would smell like. Says it smells putrid. You can like, and this is supposed to be a luxury apartment. These are like, kind of privileged people, but like they have that money, so they're allowed to have that privilege. But at the same time, it's like I said, like this is a privilege anybody should have. I would be livid and appalled if it was happening at my apartment, and my apartment is not luxury. Let's just say, let's just say it's not luxury by any means, and this would be disgusting to me. 9 stories.
I mean, even the luxury or not, I think anybody would be appalled. Like if like there's just trash piling up. But it does happen a lot in apartments. Like I know it happens in my apartment a lot where the trash chute. I don't know what happens, but it's like the red light comes on where you can't unlatch the lock, and then just like the chute is broken, and you have to kind of complain and be like, "Yo!" So people just leave their trash in the trash room and to the side, and it does smell. The smell does get gnarly, and I always feel bad for the people that units that live right next to the trash room because it just I was like, God, it's
Yeah.
in LA,
Well,
you pay these prices to smell trash, and just like, what else?
right.
What else can they take from me?
But at like 9 floors, at 9 stories, like everybody is next to the trash at that
Yeah,
point. Every apartment's next to the.
yeah, given it's like 9 floors. I mean, there's probably a ton of units, and like it's trash.
Yeah.
It's surprising how fast trash piles up because I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like trash is like people throw away their like takeout like DoorDash order. They're like trash they built up through the day, and just like it does it does accumulate pretty fast. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what they built this material out of, but it's like the chute does break down pretty frequently. I don't know what the hell it is.
Well, from what I'm looking into, it's unfortunate is that like not very much has been said or done about it by management, and they're not even really explaining what is going on. So you would think like if it was the waste disposal services problem that they would have said that and put it on them, but it sounds like it's a them problem and that they're not taking care of the things that they should because they're basically like not commenting on it. The only thing that they've said to anybody is like that they removed some of it the other day and like they're going to try to work on it, but supposedly like not only are they not commenting on it with the media, but they're also not responding to the residents, and that's probably the biggest issue. I mean, the residents are the ones that deserve to have an answer. The residents are the ones that deserve to have some peace and not be smelling rank, nasty garbage for their existence. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah.
pile
I
it
mean, it
like you
piled
said,
on
it
for
piles up
two.
fast,
Uh-huh.
but nine floors, 2 weeks. There's no way it's two. You were gonna say 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks. They said it's been there for 2 weeks. Apparently, to
If
the tenant. I don't know.
I feel like that's got to be like 2 weeks since they noticed, or like something like that.
I don't
There's
know.
like I feel
Yeah.
like 9 stories has to be more than 2 weeks. But at the same time, if it is a really really big apartment complex, then that does make some sense. But
Yeah,
like my
because I
God,
also
9 stories
used to
is
live
just
in an apartment where I think the property management company, they bought the smaller bin,
mhm,
and it used to like they pile it accumulated so fast that it kind of toppled down off of the bin, and it kind of led into the parking garage. And I remember like the trash people came, and then they kind of like they were moving it, and I remember one of the workers saying to the other her coworker saying like, I don't know why they just don't pay for the bigger bin. So I don't know. It might have been one of those things that they don't pay for the service that like makes it so like they pick up more often in the week. I don't know what it is, but like
right.
yeah.
That's where I'm saying it feels like it's like something that doesn't it's not on the waste disposal people. Like I'm
Hmm.
sure the trash people would be doing this if like it was put out in a way that they could actually get to it or whatever like the actual issue is. I don't
Hmm.
think it's on the waste management because usually waste management's like I'm pretty sure it's a government facility, and if it's not government, it's still a very well run, well organized facility that picks up all the trash that they are assigned to pick up. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? They don't.
Which is probably one thing that I have to ask because trash is charged to your monthly rent, and I wonder if like the management would be like, "Hey, you get your $10 back for the rent."
Right. I mean, it's like the guys said they're not getting any kind of response from them from management. So it's like,
Yeah.
will they own up to it? I mean, if it's in the news, hopefully that's a big enough like wake up call for you to go and start doing something about
Yeah.
it because you're embarrassed. It's a
Hmm.
luxury apartment, you should be
Yeah. And
embarrassed.
nowadays, you don't in apartments, you don't even see. There's like used to be like where you used to talk to an actual person who's an on-site manager who you knew like took care of everything. Nowadays, it's just like sales agents at the front. It's just like the
Mm,
security and sales agents, and you're just like asking them. They're just more so like trying to bring in new tenants, you know. And even
yeah.
if you look at your apartment, it's not even like a person's actually showing you amenities. It's all on their site, and you just like you check in through an app, and then they're like, "Hey, here's the key, Bob. Just knock yourself out."
Yeah.
It's just
Instead
like
of
it's so impersonal now.
right. Instead of fixing any kind of an issue or anything, it's just hope that they leave with the problems that are left in the apartment and that we can give it to a new tenant that's okay with those problems.
I don't know. I'd be pretty pissed off too if they're charging me every month for trash and it piled up. But like I
Yeah, I
said,
mean,
I don't know the rate. I don't know how many units this apartment or that side of the apartment has. It's just like it does pile on pretty fast, but that is like management's job to be like know those problems and be like, okay, we need to fix it
yeah,
and try to have more pickups or like I don't know,
yeah.
like it's just that's just weird. And this whole thing
Whatever it
is
is, like if it's you
yeah.
guys have your maintenance people or like some of them are sick and it's not the usual guy that
Mhm.
takes out the like it doesn't matter. Like 9
Yeah.
floors is absurd. Like you go
Yeah.
get your ass out there and you start taking trash out if you're management at that point. Like something needs to be done. Do something.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like come on.
Yeah. An article made the point of making it show so it's luxury. It's also kind of like you also think to yourself, it's like, what is luxury anymore? Is it just a brand? Because like a lot of times, like if you look at it in marketing, like a lot of the high-end like clothing brands, they according to like some people, they're like, oh, but they're not technically marketing their clothes, they're marketing status. Like I wear like Balenciaga, therefore like people think I'm, of a higher status,
Right,
so
right.
it's just like it's this idea of luxury is this kind of like even with like Montclair, like when I was shopping there and I was kind of like not like with my mom, but like just basically looking through their jackets and it's like $600-$700 jackets, and it's just kind of like you look through where it's made from, it's like made in Cambodia, and you're like, wait a minute, it's just
Yeah.
like it's not even made in like Europe or hand stitched or anything. It's just like why are they charging so, and you realize that like, oh okay, it's like they're technically selling you a brand more than their clothing and their apparel.
Yeah. I mean, there was a line in Thrift Shop, right? That song Thrift Shop.
Is it the one with Macklemore?
Macklemore. Everybody loves
Macklemore?
Thrift
Whatever
Shop.
happened to
Macklemore.
him anyway?
He still makes music. He's just not as
Okay.
popular as he was.
Okay.
There was that one line that said, limited edition. Let's do some simple edition, $50 for a t-shirt. That's just some ignorant bitch shit. And it's like, yeah, somebody's paying like $50 for like a tee just because it says Gucci on it, but it's literally made of the same exact quality and everything as every other t-shirt. Yeah, maybe that's just some ignorant shit, bitch shit.
Yeah.
But
it keeps the economy going, so why
right.
not?
And the thing is, like, I'm not gonna lie, like I buy plenty of things that are to make me look cooler because I have that name brand product on. Like,
Yeah.
I do still try to shop and like make it sure it's a quality item with the right name brand, but sometimes you make that sacrifice. The
You're
biggest
better
issue
than
with
I am. For me, it's just like Nike. Okay, I'm buying it. I mean, Nike has me
It
on
happens.
like between their like thumbs and fingers. They're just like,
Yeah.
buy it, Daniel. I'm just like, I don't even like that color, but okay, I guess I will.
I'll buy
Oh,
it. You're right.
man.
Um,
Nike sneakers. God
the-
damn, do they have? I need to control myself.
I like that. The thing I find about like the luxury, just before we move on, is that it's like, so they call it a luxury apartment. I think like what you were saying, where it's like a lot of it's about the name and stuff like that. I think another part of, especially when it comes to like luxury apartments and like living arrangements and whatnot, is the amenities are like always included, or at least like for the most part they're included, and like at a high quality. Like you can do your washing and go to a nice gym and stuff like that, like without any worries about having to go to the laundromat or anything like that. Like in luxury places, you have all amenities, like not just covered, but they're like in a good place, and I think, trash has got to be one of the biggest ones, especially trash disposal. If the whole freaking apartment complex smells like garbage, then yeah, get it out of there, you dumb. Like,
It's luxury, scent of nature.
Oh my God. Moving on.
Luxury.
Let's get out of this garbage topic, literally. This completely unrelated. I don't really know how to connect it. This driver's in the doghouse. Well, I guess we could say, the complex management is in the doghouse. This driver's in the doghouse. Man accused of DUI tried to swap seats with a dog.
That's how drunk he was. He thought he could get away with it.
So what'd he do? He pulled over and put his dog in the seat?
Yeah, it's just why did you think that was a good idea? You think the cop was be like, okay, the dog's not drunk. I guess he can drive you home safe. It's like, what? Like,
He thought
you
the
thought
cop
this
would
could fly.
He thought the cop would get a good laugh and let him go.
Yeah,
know?
it's just like that's how intoxicated you were, dude. Like you thought this was gonna work, and the dog, poor dog, he's just like, "Brr." Like,
Officer, I swear he just doesn't know how to drive.
his
I
paws doesn't grip the wheel properly.
I'm trying to train him so he can get his license. Sorry,
Mhm.
officer. I'll keep it to the back roads.
Mhm.
No, that's
Which is
silly.
crazy because, like, one thing I've always noticed. I mean, we talked about in a previous episode about like auto driving cars, but if you were drunk and like you were plastered, but like self-driving cars got to such a good point where you really don't need to even pay attention, would that consider be drunk driving? Like you're
Well,
sitting
right.
drunk at the driver's seat, but like technically the car is driving. So
If it wasn't like we were talking about before, where like auto AI does almost feel like it still always needs like a helping hand or a guiding
Mhm.
hand somewhere. Like if it was completely autonomous on its own, then I can see why you would be able to just like get drunk and then get like completely shit faced and then get in the car.
Yeah,
But it's definitely not there yet, right? We
yeah.
definitely do still need some guidance and
Because
whatnot.
I always wondered like a Tesla driver kind of being like thing like that. Like when you're plastered and the cop pulls you over, it's like the car drives itself. I wasn't
Right.
driving.
Well, I would wonder like how crazy it would be to be like on the road and you look over and like the guy is like passed out in the passenger seat, like
Hmm.
fully laid back, just knocked out. But then there's like nobody at the
Hmm.
wheel or like a dog at the wheel while it's a self-driving car. But
If a
like you
dog's
look
at the wheel, I'd be my phone is coming out. I'm taking pictures. I'd be like,
right.
this is.
It reminds me of a time when I was on the bus in high school. Me and my teammates were going from track meet and while we were on the freeway, like we look out the window and there's a car that doesn't have any driver. And like this is before Tesla was really popular, or like any automated self-driving cars. So we were like tripping. There was not a soul in the car, and it was just trucking down the highway at the same speed as us.
Mhm.
And it's funny because I pointed out and I'm freaking out, and then all my friends like around me start tripping out too.
Uh-huh.
And then that car starts to move forward. It starts going faster than the bus. And as it starts to go up the bus, you hear the kids up the bus start like in a chain wave, like, oh my God, as it just goes up the bus. And then the bus started to go faster and catch back up to the car. And as we moved more and more forward, we saw that it was being towed. But somehow, for the longest time, none of us saw that it was being pulled by another car, and we just thought there was just a ghost driver on the road. It was the craziest thing. But no, I thought that would be really funny if you were on the road. It was self-driving, and the guy was so confident, knocked out or whatever, and he like was just like laying sprawled in the back or something like that. You just couldn't see anybody in the car, and it's just off on its own, doing its own thing. What you would think, even if it was
Yeah.
like self-automated, if you didn't see anybody in the car, you would still be like, where's it going? Why?
I know. Well, I mean, like, I think also there's a feature like the car, I don't know, goes to you. I don't know.
I've heard of that, but I think it only
Like the
happens like in
Batmobile.
parking lots or something like
Yeah,
that.
in the
Like I
parking
can't
lots. Yeah.
imagine it doing that from like LAX.
Well, Batman does that. He pushes a little button on his wrist, and then the bat wing goes to him.
We are getting to a place where like cars automation and whatnot is getting so complex that we could probably start to really make some crazy vehicles closer to a Batmobile with like all the crazy buttons and knobs and things that he's pushing that are doing all this super super crazy stuff.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be
That'd be
pretty
pretty
awesome.
cool.
Last thing. Let's just get into our last topic. These just they don't have a lot of connections with each other. This one's maybe, you know, kind of futuristic talk, kind of like an AI car, but yeah, you know, it's the future of marriage and what are we allowed to marry? Should be allowed? Should it be seen as odd for us to marry, you know, inanimate objects or cyber creatures or whatever?
I mean, I guess it's up to up to
The
the
government and the
lovebirds.
person, the
The
lovebirds.
lovebirds, yeah.
So the reason we bring this up is there's a story here of a man who finds bliss after marrying a virtual doll named Hatsune Miku.
It's a little virtual pop idol. Apparently, if you look at it, it's crazy because he did endure bullying a lot. Apparently, like he was bullied in the workforce and where he asked for sick time, and I guess he met this Hatsu that character that you mentioned.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he apparently found her and he found comfort in her.
So this like digital idol, is she somebody he could like communicate with, like a chat GPT that like interacted with him, or is he's just watching like an animated
Videos of her.
dancer
Yeah,
sing or
just like an
something? And
anime
he's
Dan. I don't know if there's like a chat GPT version. I'm pretty sure like I don't correct me if I'm wrong, if there's like a interactive version of her, but from what I've known, she's like a virtual idol, like a dancing, like a almost like a K-pop idol, but virtual.
and yeah, so I mean, I guess for me it brings the question of like, is this consensual on her part?
How would we even know that?
Does she know she just got married to this guy, and is she okay with it?
I mean, it does bring an interesting point because I remember seeing a Vice article on a it was a documentary about a guy who had like all these sex dolls, and they asked him why he's so infatuated with these dolls, and his point was, albeit, yeah, it is weird and strange and to a degree crazy, but what he said was kind of like, oh, I kind of feel that because he's like, at the end of the day, these dolls won't leave me. They won't lie to me. They won't hurt me. So
Right.
like, yeah, so it's just like, oh, I kind of feel him on that because like I've been through many relationships where I've been lied to, cheated on, and it does hurt you a great deal after that relationship ends in such a bad way. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not sure how much trauma he went through, but like mine, I'm fortunate enough to, I guess, to have developed enough thicker skin, I guess,
Mhm.
to move forward, to move on to other relationships. But I mean, some people are genuinely hurt. I mean, like that guy, and I'm guessing this gentleman who married his virtual idol is kind of like they probably had it with humans treating them like shit, almost to the point
Mhm.
where they just kind of have to now go to, like you said, inanimate objects or animated objects, but that aren't of flesh and blood.
Right. Uh, inanimate but animated.
Yeah, animated.
Right.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. It's interesting. I've for the most part only ever heard these people saying very similar things in the way that it's like the inanimate object or whatever won't hurt me. I won't, you know, feel betrayed or have loss or anything when it comes to this object or whatever. I think the part that really messes with me is that it's like I can kind of understand where they're coming from. Like I have certain attachments, like for example, like Waluigi is like a weird character in my life where like I'm weirdly attached to the character, but I'd never marry Waluigi. Like that's where I'm like, where does like the marriage, where does the like the connection so intense with this character that you have to like put it in put it on paper that you are like legally bound together to this like inanimate thing? Like why can't you just be satisfied with it delivering whatever, you know, it gives to you out of like whatever happiness you derive from the thing? Like why
Mhm.
why do you have to marry it? That's where it's like it gets weird for me, because it's like,
Well, I think it's also important to state that, like, I think this is where human interaction is important, not in just like love relationships, but like also family and even and also friends. Yeah, this is like where I think in those types of relationships, if you start off on a strong foot, I think you kind of believe in people, like you believe that there is a goodness in people. Therefore, like let's say you encounter a bully at a workplace or school, you know, you kind of know that, oh yeah, I do have people around me that do care about me, and I trust them, and they love me and I love them. So therefore, like they do have some feelings of like like there I may come across a person that's a piece of shit. But I think like nowadays a lot of times like a lot of people are feeling a lot more lonelier, and I don't think they're interacting as with people as much. Therefore, like if you have a bad experience and you have no other thing to counteract that with like any good relationships, then I think it does make sense to me that this guy can go to like virtual people, you know.
well, again, I can understand why someone would end up falling into certain infatuations with certain things. It's the why does it have to be legally bound to you on through a contract? Like that's where
Oh
I
yeah.
need, like, why is it to that degree? Why can't people just be like satisfied? Because like I'm sure he was having plenty of fun doing whatever he was doing with her, to her, before they got married, quote unquote. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, like, especially with something that's like inanimate, like what benefit you get from being married to it. It doesn't, I don't think like it changes anything in terms, what, like, because you're married now, your taxes are different. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
That it could
why
be.
does it
He
become a
wants the tax
marriage thing?
benefits.
Like, you know, that's the weirdest thing for me. Why
Yeah,
is it
maybe he
why is
wanted
it
to
a
get married,
contract?
but he just didn't trust anybody, so therefore he got married to somebody that technically can't leave him.
If it's as like a joke, or if it's like if you have like some weird reason like that behind it where you get some sort of like a monetary benefit or something, like, please, I tell me and I can maybe understand. But it's like when it's just you just marrying an inanimate object and nobody really knows why, except for you just say you have an infatuation with it and stuff. It's like, okay, then just be infatuated with it. Why are you marrying it? Like, what the hell?
Well, I'm a believer of love, so
Okay,
go
yeah, but
ahead,
you
go
don't
ahead.
have to be married to be in love.
I mean, like
Oh my
to agree, I mean, he
god.
might thought that that might have been the ultimate step in the relationship, so he just thought, man,
Right.
I'll
They had
marry
to
this
take
girl.
that next step in their relationship, right? He can't start a family with her without getting that started, right?
Yeah.
DK, you got anything else on this?
Yeah, I
What?
mean, marry who you want or what you want to marry.
Marry who you want or what you want to marry, guys. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, like, yeah, I'm not gonna tell the guy not to. It just brings a lot of questions to mind, and the first and big one for me is, can't you just why can't you just enjoy it at the level you were enjoying it before? Why'd you have to marry it? Where did that have to come into play? Oh god, enjoy yourself with your digital idol, my friend. At least you're not marrying like a sandwich. I think we've probably already heard of somebody doing that at this point in time. Everything's been happening. It's too weird.
Yeah, I mean, the sandwich would go bad really quick, so that marriage won't last that long.
Probably go bad just as fast as any other marriage. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate you for listening to Weird Week. I've been your host, Jack DeMont. DK, thank you for joining us. Guys, like, subscribe, follow. Go to weirdweek.fyi. Send us all your money because we need it and we like money. Peace.